You can see this. All right, thanks, Jessica. She can see it. Nice, thanks, Susie. Thanks, Sarah. Okay, cool. Let's crack into this then. Okay, cool. I can see you too, Mary. Not like properly, just on the screen. That'd be weird. Okay, Anya, you can see these slides. Brilliant. So, guys, at any point, if you want to ask a question or you want to throw your 2 cents in, just hit the question button, type it up. It'll come up on my screen, and I'll be able to answer it then on the webinar. So, here we go. What we're going to do is have a look at the perfect strategy to get bikini ready before it's too late. So, as you know, summer's coming, and I need to get this back to slideshow mode. So, right, let's go. So, the perfect strategy to get bikini ready before it's too late. So, picture this. The evenings are getting longer, weather's getting milder, and people are starting to talk about their summer holidays. But you shudder with dread every time you remember that means it's bikini time, and you haven't exactly looked after yourself over winter. Christmas got in the way, January blues, Easter's coming up. You know, a lot of things can go wrong in that time period. So hiding underneath hoodies and baggy clothes were great then, but now it's time for string tops and suntans, and you're just not where you want to be. So this webinar is going to examine the 4 things that you need to do right now before it's too late, so you can get your bikini body and more importantly, your confidence back. So the webinar is going to be on the ultimate bikini body plan. We're going to address crash and yo-yo dieting and why they suck, why high reps for toning is making you big and bulky, which is the exact opposite of what you should be doing, the perfect rep range for toning arms, legs, bums, and thumbs, and then the right foods to eat so you can lose weight without going hungry. And then as I was writing this earlier, I went on a bit of a tangent, and I felt that I was leaving a little bit of stuff out, and I was kind of holding back the really, really good stuff on you, and that's not fair because you're here at 9 o'clock watching this, so I'm going to give it to you anyway. So as a special bonus, what we're going to do is look at the secret strategies you can implement right now to get your bikini body back faster, and then we're going to look at flexible dieting and the 80% rule. So, all good? Everyone happy and ready to go? Give me a hell yeah if you do. You need to type it in. I can't hear you shouting at the screen. Come on, I need at least one. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, Susie. Hell yeah, Christina. Okay, cool. I'm happy. Let's keep going. So, crash yo-yo dieting. So anything like Juice Fast, Herbalife, Forever Living, Slimming World, Magic Potions, the 5 and 2 diet, essentially anything that's branded, including paleo, is usually bullshit. Okay, if you need to put a branding on healthy eating, it's not sustainable long term. So for me, the only sort of diet you need to look at is the real food diet. So let's say dead animals, or if you're a vegetarian, stuff like tofu, quinoa, and legumes. As much veg as you can handle, colorful and green, and some healthy fat. If you're hard training, then some starchy carbs like some rice and sweet potato. So anyone you know who's done a crash or yo-yo diet of some sort usually ends up fatter than they were when they started. So when you crash your yo-yo diet, you're essentially damaging yourself. So your body senses this lack of food going in, and it upsets it. It goes, crap, I'm not getting grub in, so I'm going to hold on to all the fat I have. Eventually, you'll strip away fat, or you'll strip away the food to a level where your body has to give up some fat for energy because it can't survive otherwise. But you set it into a place now where as soon as you start eating again, you're going to regain all that weight you've just lost. So it's like you're dieting for an event, for a wedding. You spend 6-7 weeks eating broccoli and doing burpees, lycra and lettuce, nothing else but that. And you go to the wedding, you have a few glasses of wine, you have a big dinner, and then the next 2 or 3 weeks, you're just on a binge. You're eating, and boom, you're back where you were when you started again, pissed off and frustrated because you've worked your ass off for 7 weeks and you've just undone it all really quickly. So what happens in that scenario is you've created metabolic damage. So your metabolism isn't up to speed anymore. It's not able to process the food as fast and effectively as it had before. Worse than that, crashing yo-yo dieting creates a thing called food phobia. So food phobia is basically being afraid of foods. Like I can't have rice because it will make me fat. I can't eat a potato because it'll go onto my ass. Guys, one fucking potato is not going to make you fat. In just the same way as one double-decker chocolate bar isn't going to make you fat. It's the constant overconsumption of those sort of foods that do it. So if somebody puts a potato in you or in front of you, don't freak out, okay? Don't be the guy or the girl who shows up to dinner in their family's house with Tupperware. Nobody wants to be around that person. You can eat whatever you want once you're sensible about it. Okay, that's not giving you license to go off and slam back a packet of cookies. But I'm saying if you have one cookie, don't beat yourself up. And the worst part then about crashing yo-yo dieting is it makes you skinny fat. So you basically look like a skeleton covered in a light duvet. You know, you look like a useless bag of shit because you've destroyed all your muscle. Your body doesn't have any fuel source anymore. So now you've got to eat the muscle there, which leaves you looking like a bag of bones. So realistically, over 6 weeks, what is achievable and what's sustainable? So the first thing to think about is track your body fat percentage, not your weight. So weight is entirely irrelevant. People get really hung up on it because it's something that's drilled into us our entire life as being important. It's not. You're tracking your body fat percentage because that's what will dictate how you look. Okay, so if your body fat percentage is coming down and your weight's going up, who cares? I guarantee your clothes size is going down and you're looking better. So that's number one. Number two, Kaizen. It's a Japanese principle for continuous improvement. So every day you're trying to do 1% better than the previous day. Just 1%, just one little thing. That could be going to bed 5 minutes earlier. It could be hitting the snooze button once less. It could be having an extra glass of water. It could be taking your multivitamin for the day. It can be anything that improves you that day. It could be going for a 5-minute walk. It's taking the stairs instead of the lift. It's walking to the shop instead of driving. Okay, it's not a big deal. Any single little thing you can do every day to make yourself better is going to help you long term. So in 365 days, you look back and you're a completely changed person. From a pure fat loss perspective, in general, you're going to lose between 0.75 kilos and 1 kilo per week if you're doing it correctly. If you have a lot more fat to lose, you'll lose it a lot more quickly, naturally enough. And if you don't have very much to lose, it'll come off slower. The ultimate goal in all of this is just to look good naked. So, you know, kind of forget everything else and just think from that perspective. It doesn't matter how much fat you lose. It doesn't matter what your body fat percentage does. Once you just look better naked. Make sense? Someone give me a yeah. Anyone? Come on. Okay. Christina. Okay, good question, Christina. You're asking if you can measure your body fat at home. You can. I don't have the formula here for it, but there's a thing called the US Navy tape measure method. So I believe it looks at neck circumference, belly button circumference, possibly wrist and one other thing. But if you Google US Navy body circumference measurement or body fat measurement, you'll get it there. If you can't find it, just bang me on an email to james@revolutionfitness.ie and I'll dig it out for you. So again, guys, any questions, just keep them coming and I'll try my best to answer them. So, pushing on. So, here's the question. Do you want to look like squishy foam or do you want to look like solid concrete? So, everyone does high reps in the gym. Ladies especially thinking it's going to tone them. You know, they feel the burn. You're doing 10, 15, 20 reps, repping it out, you know, looking for that lean, toned muscle. But crash dieting and yo-yo dieting gives you the girl on the left. Getting stronger gives you the girl on the right. Now, I'm guessing as a girl, you know which one you want to look like. And as a guy, I'm telling you which one is more attractive. And it's definitely the lady on the right there. So, look, do this for yourself. But just remember, you got to be happy with who you are and what you're doing. So I'm pretty sure nobody wants to look like this. And if you do, that's cool. But it's not healthy. So high reps are basically the pumped up foam. And low reps get you firm and toned. And that copyright of the poem is mine. Do not use it. The reason why high reps suck is basically because they do the opposite of what you're trying to do. So I said at the start that high reps make you big and bulky. And I know it sounds a bit ludicrous to say that, but think about it this way. Who does high reps? Bodybuilders. So the same dudes whose job it is to be big and bulky. That's a typo there, but it should say whose job it is to be big and bulky. So most bodybuilders train in like the 8, 12, 15, 20 rep range. And what happens? They get bigger muscles. 99% of the girls I talk to, if I say, what's the one thing you want to avoid? They'll go, bigger muscles. But you're training the way guys train to get bigger muscles. It makes no sense. Okay? So don't do it. So what you need to look for is low reps. And we're going to dig into what exactly those are in a while. So who does low rep strength training? Athletes and women who look good naked. So I mean, I'm pretty sure you can look at these girls here and agree um, they're not tanks. They're not overly muscly. They're not jacked. They're not big she beasts. They're not monsters. They they're just girls who look good in bikinis. We gonna agree with that? Come on, somebody agree or disagree. You can disagree if you want. That's fine. Come on, I'm gonna need at least one person. Yeah, Neve, you're dead right. One more. Come on, be sound. Yeah, they do look great on you. Dead right. Okay, cool. You guys are agreeing, so we're obviously on the same page. That's good. Um, I don't think you'd be here if you didn't already agree with that, right? So here's the thing. When I say high reps, I'm talking about stuff in 12 plus range. When I say low reps, I'm talking between 3 and 8 or thereabouts. I'm not saying don't ever do high reps. We still use them quite a bit in RevFit, but the primary focus is on lower reps and strength training. So the reason for that is, and I'll explain this in a second, muscle hypertrophy involves an increase in the size of skeletal muscle through an increase in the size of its component cells. Two factors contribute to hypertrophy: sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, which focuses more on increased muscle glycogen storage, and myofibrillar hypertrophy, which focuses more on increased myofibril size. However, neither happens in isolation. So essentially, what is that saying? Sarcoplasmic hypertrophy is the sort of hypertrophy bodybuilders get. So the high rep, watery, puffy, soft, crap looking stuff. You know, the sort of one you look at and you can probably poke them and see their muscles squidge up underneath your finger. Um, so, you know, definitely nothing like these girls here. So the last thing you want to look like is a big jacked bodybuilder. Maybe you do, but I'm guessing most of you don't. So stay away from that sort of training. So what's the perfect rep range then? I kind of lied to you at the start of this, and I said I'd tell you the perfect rep range, but there is none. So sorry. It's super dependent on where you're at, you know, and what your goals are, where you've come from, and what you're going to try and do from there. So a guideline range is between 3 and 8 reps per set. So that could be 5 sets of 3 reps, 3 sets of 5 reps, 4 sets of 8, anything in that kind of range. And your primary focus is then on getting strong. So, you know, stronger people are harder to kill and they're more useful in general. And being strong will make every aspect of your life easier. It's like got so many ancillary benefits you can't even think of them right now. But like here's the main one I always try and drill home to people. As females, you're at an increased risk of osteoporosis. So your bone density and strength will weaken with age. For a lot of you, that's just a fact of life. And if you don't do something to address it and start improving it now, you're gambling with stuff later on. Think about, like, for anyone my age, around 27, 28, think about your grandparents or possibly parents' generation. If they fall over, do you know what that's called? Okay, so somebody answer this question. If an old person falls over, what's that called? Okay, I'll tell you the answer. It's death, guys. They die. If they fall over and they hurt themselves, if they break a bone, if they break their leg, if they can't crawl to the phone, if they don't have a panic alarm, or if somebody isn't there to save them or find them, they're screwed. Being strong is going to help. Okay? The stronger you are, the stronger your ligaments and connective tissue is. Tendon and muscle strength is better. Bone strength is better. All of that stuff becomes improved so that you're more resistant to injury. You're effectively bulletproofing yourself against old age by getting strong first. So please think about that in the context of your training. The focus has to be on moving more weight and doing it safely and effectively rather than just pumping and looking for a burn. So what sort of exercises and movements do you want to be looking at to achieve those goals? Well, it's no secret that I love the power lifts. So the squat and deadlift. Like the squat really is the king of exercises. You see the girl here on the left in the red t-shirt and black shorts hitting up some squats. So guys, how many of you on this right now are squatting and deadlifting regularly? And tell me your maxes. So type those in right now. Um, so with the squat, you're going to get overall leg toning, and you're going to develop a proper arse. I don't know if Lindsay's on this or not, but one of the girls I trained was given out to me the other day, because she couldn't wear her favorite skirt anymore. So for the first time in her life, she'd finally got an arse, but her waist had shrank. So the waist was too big, the bum was too small, and she had to go clothes shopping, which is a pretty awesome complaint to have, I think. So the squat and deadlift have to be your first protocol for your main training movements. The deadlift, again, then is a serious booty builder and a back boob destroyer. I didn't even know back boobs existed until last week, but apparently they do. So guys, make sure you throw in your squat and your deadlift numbers there so I can see them. Okay, Orla, they're like death. She's warming up with your max. Up to 30 reps. Christina, you're afraid of deadlifting. Christina, why are you afraid of deadlifting? Is it a technique thing? Have you never had anyone show it to you before properly? Anya, 65 kilo squat and a 60 kilo deadlift. Good work. Ruth, 30 kilos, 5x5. Nice. Is that deadlift or squat? Susie, squat and deadlift. Squat 60, deadlift 85. Yeah, I know that. Susan, nice numbers. 85 kilo squat, 110 deadlift. Orla, savage numbers too. 82.5 kilo squat and 100 kilo deadlift. It's good stuff, guys. So we got some pretty strong girls on here. And I know two or three of these guys I'm after saying personally. They're all big, strong girls, and none of them look like dudes. Like, they look like ladies. So don't be afraid of strength. And we've got a rogue invader here, Mr. Kieran Mulqueen, who squats 180 because he's a beast. Yeah, we know, Kieran. Good work. I still remember when you were skinny, though. So, back on topic. So, if squats and deadlifts are the king of lower body exercises, for me, close grip bench press and bent over rows or inverted rows are the king of the upper body. Ideally, long term, you want to be looking at replacing the bent over rows or the inverted rows with chin ups or pull ups. But as a starting point, most of you guys aren't going to get even close to that. You've got to spend a lot of time developing the structural and supporting strength through your body to pull that off. So, close grip bench press, bingo wing blaster, bikini shoulder builder or bikini shoulder boss. Again, another. I've spoke to a lot of girls recently about like their ideal body, and one that came up was the bikini shoulder. Didn't even know it existed, but apparently it's the split like down the side of your shoulder that Jennifer Aniston has. Has anyone ever heard of a bikini shoulder? Guys, bikini shoulders, are they made up? Are they true? While you're answering that, Jessica, is squatting with weights or without weights no use? It depends, Jessica. Like, it depends on where you're at. So if you've never squatted before, it's a pretty good starting point. But long term, you're not going to get properly strong doing it. So that could mean you get kettlebells or a dumbbell for home, or you join a gym or pick up a trainer who shows you what to do properly. Eve, you're asking, is an inverted row a good way to get pull up strong? It sure is, Eve. I'm doing a lot of work with one of my girls at the moment on trying to get her up to pull ups, and one of the things we're doing is really tough inverted rows, so slow rows, and lots of bicep work. Okay, so nobody's heard of bikini shoulders. Must be made up then. I'm glad I didn't say it to anyone else. So let's keep going. So let's just say it builds nice shoulders. Let's go with that instead. The bent over row and the inverted row. If you sit around at the office all day, and chances are you're doing it right now, if you're sitting at a desk or if you're sitting at home on the couch, sit up straight. Are your shoulders rounded? Is your back rounded? Are you like leaning on your knees? Okay, all that stuff is really bad for your posture. When your posture is bad, you look terrible. So if your shoulders are rolled forwards, if your hips are tight and your stomach is kicked out, you look heavier than you actually should. If you stand up tall and proud, pull your shoulders back and suck your tummy in, you look instantly fitter, healthier, and leaner. So So doing stuff to correct that, like bent over rows and inverted rows, are a really good idea. Um, Not only that, but because you're in this like bent over position, your hamstrings and bum are on fire, and you end up developing some long, lean, toned arms. So on the left, you've got a close grip bench press. In the middle, you've got a barbell row, and then on the right hand side, you've got an inverted row. The inverted row on the right hand side could be done with a bar as well. And the dude in the picture is using TRX straps. So they're kind of your basic ports of call. If you get the four of those stronger, every other exercise will get better as well, and your body's going to start changing drastically in front of you. So what you need to think about is movements, not muscles. Okay, so don't think about working your biceps or your triceps. Think about global compound movements, because they'll burn more calories both during and after exercise. So if you're doing stuff focused around squatting, benching, and deadlifting, and adding in some pull-ups or inverted rows, even outside of the gym, you're going to be burning a lot of calories and recovering from them. Eve, question: should you do both bent over rows and inverted rows, or would one do? If you have the ability to do both, do both. So let's say on day one, you might close grip bench press and do inverted rows. On day two, do a normal grip bench press, superset it with bent over rows. So yeah, if you can do both for sure. It'll help alleviate boredom and just keep you interested as well. Once again, guys, any questions, just keep hitting me with them. I'm here to help you out tonight. So where are we at? So we want to think about movements and not muscles. Okay, that's the exercise side of things. It's really hard to sit down and write a full program because I don't know where you guys are at. I don't know what your experience levels are. But if you have any questions on program design, hit me up with them and I'll try and answer them as best I can. There's another typo. So yeah, I didn't spell check this very well, obviously. But when you're training, think about movements and not muscles. When it comes to food, don't think. I tell you, don't think of a pink elephant. And what are you thinking of? Boom! Big fat pink elephant, right? See, the thing about it is, when I tell you not to do something or when I tell you not to eat something, you think about it. If I told you you're no longer allowed to eat chicken and broccoli, you probably want to eat it. Even if you don't like it right now, or even if you don't think about it, just because you're thinking about not thinking about it, it's going to be in the back of your mind. So don't think about pink elephants. Don't think about the foods you can't eat. Think more about what you can eat and what's going to get you to your goal. So I promised to tell you about ways you can eat food to lose weight without being hungry. And for a long time, you're going to be able to do that. It's only when you get to very, very lean levels that you actually need to be hungry for weight loss to happen. So what do you need for successful weight loss? You need a calorie deficit, you need a lack of binging, and you need to have as little hunger as possible. We can probably stack in actual adherence to a plan and a good weight training regime to that. But from a food point of view, you need a calorie deficit, a lack of binging, and as little hunger as possible. The easiest way to get all three of those going on is more protein and healthy fats. So the calorie deficit's kind of it's a given. If your calorie intake, if the amount of food you eat is more than the energy you expend during a day, it's got to get stored somewhere, and it gets stored on your arms and on your arse, okay, in the form of fat. If you're eating less food than like the energy from the exercise you're doing, you'll lose weight. Pretty simple and straightforward. The one caveat there is if you're eating drastically underneath your maintenance calorie level, then you're at risk of slowing your metabolic rate down, which leads to a whole host of other problems like we talked about earlier. A lack of binging and as little hunger as possible kind of tie together. I've started to despair at the amount of people I come across who work their asses off Monday to Thursday. Like Monday to Thursday, they are perfect. They're machines. They eat perfectly. Nothing goes wrong. They have all their food prepared. It's all weighed and measured. They're 500-600 calories under each day. And then it comes to Friday, and they get to lunchtime. And lunchtime is, it's whatever happens. They might go out in the office that day. They might go and get a carvery with their friends. That's fine. Should have had the car every day. May as well have pints as well after work. Go out for a few drinks. What's the problem? Next thing you know, it's 3 a.m. You're in coppers. You've got some lads tie around your head. You've got vodka Red Bull in one hand and a bloody shot of Sambuca in the other. On the way home, you stop up for Zaytoon. You lash back. You lash back a big kebab. Crawl into bed about 5 o'clock, maybe with or without a guy beside you if you got lucky. Um, and then you wake up the next day about 12 o'clock, starving with a big banging hangover. So you reach for the greasy food. Um, Gets to lunchtime, you think, fuck it, why not have McDonald's? Is this sounding familiar to anybody? So what happens is you're working your ass off 4.5, 5 days a week. You think you're doing a really good job, and you are for a portion of it, and then you just ruin it all at the end of the week. So if you think about it from like a weekly perspective, if you have, let's just say 2,000 calories a day is what you need to eat to maintain your weight. Over a week, that's 14,000 calories. If you're eating 1,500 Monday to Friday, you've got 7,500 in over that period of time. Um, if 14 and a half or 14,000 should go, that's 6.5 left. Like 1 or 2 days, you can overeat that amount really quickly and really easily. So if you find that you're working your ass off and nothing's happening, there's probably one or two things going on. You're either just eating too little all the time, or you're having too many slip ups at the weekend. The reason why as little hunger as possible is important is because when your blood sugars dip, or when you leave it too long without eating, that's when you overeat. Because if your blood sugars go below where your body needs them to be, you're going to reach for the first thing you can get to eat those up and get them inside you, which is definitely not good, okay? Because you'll always reach for the fast food, you'll always reach for the convenience food. If you don't keep that stuff in your house, it's a lot better and a lot easier. I'll tell you right now, I can't have that stuff around me. If I have any form of chocolate or any form of sugar near me and I get hungry, it's getting eaten. I have zero self control there. So I always make sure I'm really well fed before I go shopping and I don't buy any of it. Because if it's there, it's getting eaten. The easiest way to stop all that is more protein and healthy fats. Okay, so pretty sure the next slide we dig into it, we do. So let's go on. So the benefits of healthy fat and protein. So it's going to keep you feeling fuller for longer. That's the most essential thing you can do. You can't overeat if you're always full. Okay. Um, Fat intake is going to slow down gastric emptying, which essentially means it's going to get through your body a bit slower. So it hangs around in your stomach a little bit longer. Your body senses that you're full, so it goes, okay, you can stop eating now. Protein will increase satiety signals to your brain. So when you eat, various signaling hormones released from your stomach and gut will go, okay, we've got food in us, chill out, brain, we're good for a while. And then finally, there's the thermic effect of food, which is something that happens with protein. Now, with all foods, with all macronutrients, with carbs, with fats, and with protein, there is a thermic effect. But with protein, it's probably about 20% higher. So what that means is that for every gram of protein you eat, it's only really 75% of the 100% impacting your body. So when you eat a gram of protein, it has 4 calories, but 25% of those calories are used in processing and breaking down the protein from the dead animal structure into its constituent amino acids, which is really good for you because it keeps you feeling fuller for longer and it has less calories. So why wouldn't you do that? Plus, meat's tasty. Um, Guys, are you all with me so far? Does anyone have any questions? Okay, we've got a few. I'll try and eat them. Eat. You see, this is what happens. I start talking about food and I start thinking about eating. Um, so, Ruth, I'm going to read this out as we go because it's quite long. After attending the ladies lifting workshop with yourself, I went from being a newbie squatting up to 45 kilos. A few weeks ago, a trainer in the gym said I was lifting too heavy as my ass was not tipping the ground when I squatted. I took all of the plates off the 20-kilo bar. Any thoughts? Um, so he could be right or he might not be right, Ruth. Let's scroll back a couple of slides and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So see this girl here on the right hand side? If you're getting down to that level with your hips, you're doing fine. Depending on your own individual lever lengths, you may never be able to get your bum down to the ground. If your squat looked more like this girl on the right, which, well, she's doing a deadlift, but if your hips were up high, or if your hips were above the level of your knee, then yeah, the trainer was probably right, and you probably were just going a little bit too heavy. Without seeing it, it's really hard to know. Um, but let's say it's a general rule: if you can squat more than you can deadlift, your squats are probably a little bit high. So, does that answer the question, Ruth? Feel free to follow up and ask me another one if it doesn't. Um, Christina, you want to know what the best thing to eat pre and post workout, and how much time there should be in between the workout and eating. Um, this is kind of one of those things where if it's your biggest problem, you're doing pretty well. Um, Pre workout, don't change too much. Like if you're training, like Christina, I'm going to assume you train after work or you train around 6 or 7 o'clock because that's what most people tend to do nowadays. If you have your lunch of a decent size and then have a snack at about 3 o'clock, then you should be okay. So a snack might be something like a protein shake or a Quest bar, a handful of nuts, some trail mix, something along those lines. Then yeah, you're fine. Once you've enough energy to get through your workout, then you're doing a pretty good job. Post workout, you want to get something in pretty quick that your body can break down and use. So that'd be either a protein shake or a protein bar, maybe some simple carbs like, you know, a spot of Lucasade Sport. The non fizzy stuff isn't the worst in the world. It's not great, but it's kind of an okay option. Um, Ideally, some protein mixed with some glucose and just slam it back after your training, about 25 grams of each. Um, and finally, how much time should there be in between the workout and eating? You want a minimum of about 90 minutes, in my opinion. If you've too much, then, or if you've too little, you're going to go in feeling pretty manky. And if you've too much, you're probably going to go in tired. Um, Diane, hey, good to see you. Is the reason for as little hunger as possible simply to reduce the likelihood of binging and reaching for the Mars bar, or is there something more scientific to that than it, or to it than that? Um, yeah, to be honest, it's literally just to try and stop you from grabbing the first thing you see. So, like, the hardest thing in the world to do is eat when you're full. So, if we keep you feeling full, you're going to eat less. And if you eat less, then you consume less calories. And because you consume less calories, you start to lose fat. So, yeah, essentially, yeah, the reason to keep somebody feeling full is to stop them from um, reaching for the Mars bar. Eve, any opinions on 5 and 2? I'm quite tempted. Eve, 5 and 2. Lovely idea, really hard to implement. I'll tell you what to do. Give it a go. Track your calories really closely for the 7 days. Look at them and see how they average out over the course of a week. I'd almost guarantee you that if you do this 5 and 2, where you're allowed to eat whatever you want for 2 days, you're going to overconsume. Um, Not only that, but if you're addicted to sugar, like most people are, and it's the first thing you think of in the morning and the last thing you think of at night, you're never going to break those sugar cravings. So it's not really a long term sustainable solution for me. Ruth, thank you. I feel like the woman on the left. Look, Ruth, that's as low as you need to go. Um, I'm biting my tongue here because I don't want to go on a rant, but most trainers don't actually understand what they're talking about. Okay. Um, like for you, if you have any ankle mobility issues, you're not going to be able to get bummed to the grass without falling over backwards. If your femur and tibia are quite short, so if your leg, if you have shorter legs than you have a upper body, then you can't squat as deep. If you've got really long legs, you appear to squat deeper. There's a million and one things wrong with what he said, but without seeing how you squat now, at the moment, it's really hard to say. Um, but let's just agree that the girl on the left here in the red top, if you're squatting down that low, then you're doing it fine and just keep doing that. Susie, are there any benefits to training on a fast first thing in the morning before breakfast? Okay, girls don't seem to respond as well to intermittent fasting style training as guys do. Coffee, I agree. Trainers are dumb, and I'm probably the dumbest of them all. But you're here listening to me, and I'm not listening to you, so I hope you enjoy it. Um, Honestly, no. For most people, there is no benefit for training training in the morning fasted. Um, I train a lot of the time before breakfast just because it's the way my day sits. But look, it doesn't matter. Okay, if that's your biggest concern, then you're doing great. But for most people, trying to not eat shit 2 out of 7 days is a much bigger concern. So if you can honestly say you're doing everything else right, then maybe look at it and see how you feel. But if you're not, don't worry about it. Or like, can we talk about how amazing avocados are? We're about to get there when we start talking about the benefits of fats. So sit tight. Ruth, keep a good eye on it. Make sure your ass is below knee level. Spot on. Good work. Okay, guys, it's a lot. It's a lot of questions. I'm glad you're asking them. So again, if you do have any, just bang them up there, and I'll keep spitting out answers at them. We're about the 21 out of 30 slides, I think. So, um, benefits of fat and protein. Let's get back to this. So part one keeps you feeling fuller for longer. That's like the main issue with it, and it's the best part about it. It prevents muscle loss and it keeps your metabolism elevated, and you avoid becoming skinny fat. So remember I showed you a picture of, I think it was Nicole Richie back here. Where's she gone? This chick. This is skinny fat. This is like not having much weight but still looking like a pile of shit. Okay, it is not very aesthetically pleasing at all. So skinny fat is where your body has no muscle and your skin effectively just hangs off your bones. I'm sure you'll agree that's not a good look. So by eating a lot of protein, you'll keep your metabolism elevated and you prevent muscle loss. Um, and then one of the main reasons to eat good food or real food, so essentially that is meat, vegetables, nuts, seeds, small bit of fruit, limited starch, and little or no sugar, is because good food leads to better dietary adherence. So essentially what that means is when you eat really good quality food, you're less likely to eat junk food. And when you don't eat junk food, it's much harder to overconsume calories. If you put a 2,000 calorie plate of chicken and broccoli in front of you, um, it's a big plate that's really hard to get through. I guarantee you won't do it. Put 2,000 calories worth of McDonald's in front of somebody, and they will meal through it very fast. So, what do you need to add in to get closer to what we're talking about here? So, we need to add in some lean protein. So turkey, chicken, fish, good quality red meat. You could probably stick in some venison there. Ostrich is absolutely amazing if you've never had it. Um, anything that's really a dead animal, preferably something that is free range and organic and hasn't been stuffed full of antibiotics. So lean protein first, then vegetables, both green and coloured. Lots of them, as many as you can eat, no limit. And then finally, healthy fats. So olive and coconut oil, some nut butters, and yes, Orla avocados. Just as an example of this, my day today, I had some bacon and eggs for breakfast. Lunch was a homemade curry with peppers, spring onions, a lot of coconut milk, a Thai curry paste that I made myself, some mange stew, some sweet corn or some baby corn, and a big bag of spinach in it. And then dinner before I went to the gym was some burgers with some almond butter, an egg, tomatoes, spinach, a little bit of cheese, and there was something else badass on it. What was it? Bacon. Bacon. Always bacon. I cut off the fat though because it's just manky. So if you make this stuff the foundation of your meals, you're laughing. If you want to think about it another way, there you go. Half your plate animals, half your plate plants, and then some water. By the way, if you want a tongue twister, try and say half your plate plant. Yeah, look, if you want a tongue twister right now, try and say half of your plate plants. Give it a go. It's not easy. So we're going to kick into bonus presentation time. Um, but right now, let's just stop it and we'll get some more questions covered off. Oh God, there's loads of them. Sweet guys. Honestly, thank you so much for doing this. I'm really excited that you're asking questions and engaging. Um, so Ruth, he was critical of your program and technique. Haven't lifted in 2 weeks as you're disillusioned. You've just been running, and you're not overly sensitive. Um, Ruth, if that was a program I helped you construct, tell me who he was so I can go and kick the shit out of him because he doesn't know what he's talking about. If you're doing that program that we put together, you're doing a great job. Okay. Think about it this way. Actually, no, I'm not going to say it because I'm just going to be a dickhead for no reason. Let me know what the program is so I can answer it. A little bit better. Christina, best alcohol to drink. um, if you're gonna go out and get drunk, enjoy it. Um, for me, like if I'm gonna go out and be good, I find the best way to go about it is either vodka or tequila mixed with pure lime juice. So squeezing a couple of limes into the glass, some sparkling water, and then just giving it a stir up and topping it off with some ice. So like a vodka soda lime made with fresh lime, not the lime cordial you get in the pub because it is junk, and um, and something like a NorCal margarita, which is the tequila one. Couple of interesting facts with those. If you get something like a really good vodka like Ciroc, it's made from snap frost grapes, so it's really good quality and really uncontaminated. Same with good quality tequilas; they're made from pure agave nectar, so they end up with no gluten and no contaminants. So that's like score number one for them. Point two, the sparkling water will help rehydrate you, and the carbonation will actually bubble the alcohol into your bloodstream faster, which gets you drunker, so you get drunk off less. Um, the lime will go some way towards neutralizing the acidity of the alcohol as well and restoring kind of blood pH levels back to where they should be. So, all in all, it's like scientific drinking. So yeah, vodka, soda water, lime, or tequila, lime, soda water. If you've never tried tequila, lime, and soda water, give it a go. It's really tasty. It doesn't sound like it should be, but it is. Um, Eve, can I combine the fats and protein like pork belly? Uh, you can combine the fats and protein, yeah, for sure. But um, the one thing I'll caution you with on pork belly is pigs will eat anything. And in both humans and animals, the majority of toxins stored in your body gets stored in fatty tissue. So while pork belly is absolutely delicious and one of my favorite things in the world is slow cooked pork, it's probably something you should avoid. As a treat every now and again, like once every week or two, it's not going to kill you, but I certainly wouldn't make it the foundation of my plan. Jessica, protein for vegetarians, tofu, legumes. If you'll eat eggs and fish, go for it. Tofu and legumes are cool. Um, Corn, not the worst. Quinoa, maybe. Um, Orla, that is what she said. Um, coffee, red lorry, yellow lorry. That is a tough one. Unique New York. Um, okay, Nicola, thanks for checking in and thanks for the kind words. Any hints or tips about handling sugar addiction and breaking the cycle? Uh, Look, this is like any addiction, Nicola. You don't reward a recovering alcoholic by giving them a little tipple on the weekend. Like you don't say, "Here's 6 good week," or here's 6 good days. Now, here, have a pint. You'll enjoy it. It's not the way you do it. It's the same with food. If you're going to really make this kind of breaking the sugar cycle thing a go, you need to give yourself 14 to 21 days to really do it. Um, because if you don't, you're going to be constantly stuck in that cycle. And again, it's quite easy to fall back into it. But once you've broken it once, you're usually going to be okay. Okay, Ruth, I'm not going to name the gym, and you're doing the program I outlined. Guys, just for a little heads up, the program we put together for Ruth was, if I'm remembering correctly, something like a squat and an inverted row paired together and supersetted, and then a bench press paired with a deadlift. And I think there was some core work on the end as well. Okay, so I'm being now criticized by a trainer in a gym for doing that. Look, I have nothing to say to him other than screw you, dude, you're wrong. Um, and of course, Ruth, that is assuming you're performing it all correctly and he's not just being helpful and but misguided. But yeah, look, don't worry about it. You should, if you want to lull, ask him what he'd suggest and then just see where it comes. He's probably gonna just try and sell you something. Would I recommend doing a hit day, Susan? So, guys, for those of you who don't know, hit training, high intensity interval training, maybe. I'm not sure if I would or not because it depends. So if you're doing 3 or 4 days of strength training a week and eating really well and seeing good progress, I wouldn't. But if you wanted to step it up a little bit, or if you just enjoy doing HIIT training, then yeah, go for it. I'd very rarely recommend it to my guys because what we do in the gym is quite intense. We work our asses off 3 4 days a week. So outside of that, one of the best things they can do is just get out for an hour long walk 2 or 3 days a week. That's something I've started doing recently as well, where I'm just getting out, having a walk around, and you end up getting in a lot of ninja cardio, like stick on a podcast or stick on an audiobook. uh, Christina, Siobhan just sent you a high five there for your alcohol question. I'm pretty sure you asked the question everyone else wanted to know as well. Um, so, Mary, I think I've probably answered the protein question there for you about vegetarian sources. Protein, eggs, tofu, quinoa, corn maybe, and legumes. Root, yeah, squat, deadlift, press up, inverted row, plank, 5x5. Yeah, screw him. Just ignore what he says. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Um, Coffee, it all makes sense. A guy lives in a pent. Okay, guys, I got a brain teaser for you. If anyone gets this right, I'll give them a free Redfit t-shirt. Guy lives in a penthouse. He uses the elevator to go to work, but he comes home and uses the stairs. Why? Okay, if you can answer that, you get a free Redfit t-shirt. Anya, any benefit in doing cardio such as spinning in addition to weight training? Um, Again, it depends. You know, if you've got enough left to do some cardio after you've done weight training, maybe you haven't pressed your strength training hard enough. Am I saying don't do cardio? No, I'm not. I'm just saying it's not always necessary. If you enjoy it and if you feel like you're benefiting from it, go for it. But it's not a prerequisite. So ah, Orla scores the t-shirt again. She'll probably just cut it up. Um, so guys, the question was: guy lives in a penthouse, uses the elevator to go to work, and comes home using the stairs. Why? It's because he's a dwarf. Okay, he can reach the ground floor button on the way into work, but he can't reach the top button on the way home. So yeah, Orla won that one. Orla, I'll give you your t-shirt on Saturday. Anyway, back to this. So this is the good stuff, guys. This is the stuff I'm really excited about. So the secret strategies you can implement right now to get your bikini body back faster. And then we'll talk about flexible dieting and the 80% rule. So secret strategy number one, eat slowly. And this is going to bust your ass and it's going to be a complete pain, but it's the quickest and most implementable thing you can do right now so that you can start losing weight and getting that bikini body back. So set a timer for 15 minutes. What I want you to do is take 2 bites of your food, 2 forkfuls. Put your fork down. Have a mouthful of water. Pick your fork up. Have 2 bites of food. Put your fork down. Have a mouthful of water. And complete, repeat, and keep doing until your meal is gone, which will hopefully be around the 15-minute range. The main reason for that is because your body won't send like satiety feedback signals or won't say to your brain, hey, I've eaten for 15 to 20 minutes after your meal has started. So if you eat like a duck and shovel all your food down in the first 3 or 4 minutes, then your body never gets a chance to realize it's full. Second little bonus tip, which is kind of an add-on to this one, is use smaller plates. If you put the same portion on 2 plates, one big and one small, um, the smaller plate looks bigger. Obviously, it looks like there's more food on it, and that sends an important signal to your brain as well. It'll keep you feeling fuller as well. So the second step is add good stuff in and don't take stuff away initially. So you want to eliminate any obvious deficiencies. So for most, well, for guys and for girls, but for girls especially, they're very deficient in protein. For me, I target 1 gram per pound of body weight in my guys and girls. Um, the the prevailing theory amongst nutritionists and dietitians would be slightly different. It's probably quite a bit lower, but I've seen really good results off of this. And the International Society or the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutritionists have published a very comprehensive position statement stating that protein intake around this level, I think they go to about 0.8 grams per pound of body weight, is safe long term and not going to cause any damage. So for me, that's the starting point. A good multivitamin, some omega-3 fish oils, and ZMA. ZMA is awesome. So it's zinc and magnesium. So it has a lot of important hormonal supporting effects. The magnesium helps recovery from exercise and prevents muscle cramp. And also it will knock you out at night. It'll put you into a much deeper sleep via increased parasympathetic nervous system stimulation, which means you will recover better from your training sessions and burn more fat. The biggest issue most people have outside of their food is that you just simply don't sleep enough. Guys, you need a minimum of 8 hours of sleep per night. If you're not getting it, start now. Okay, don't leave the webinar, but as soon as this is over, go to bed. So, number 3, the compliance grid. The compliance grid is something I've started using a lot with my guys, and I've got really good results so far. So I think a picture on the next slide. I don't. Oh no! Okay, so let's ignore the compliance grid for now for a second. So secret strategy number 2, eliminate the obvious deficiencies: protein, ZMA, multivitamins, omega-3 fish oils. Pretend you don't need. See the next slide. What you need next: more water. Okay. The reason for that is if people are dehydrated, then you're gonna feel hungry. A lot of the time, you're probably just not drinking enough. So if your pee is not clear or pale yellow, after you go to the bathroom, when you look in the bowl, yes, I'm telling you to do that, then you need to drink more water. So for like a girl who's around an average body weight girl of 75 kilos needs to drink about 3 liters of water per day, which is quite a lot in comparison to what you're probably drinking now. So more water, implement that from tomorrow. Okay, always have a glass beside you, or always have a bottle of water to fill. When it comes to water bottles, the best ones to get are ones which are BPA free. So bisphenol A is a known carcinogen, and if you reuse plastic bottles, it will seep into the water and potentially cause some negative long-term effects. Guys, any questions? Keep hitting them up. Keep coming at me with them. So I've got a picture of the compliance grid on the slide after Farther Jack. Okay, here we go. I just added it in twice. So this is the compliance grid. What you're looking for is 3 meals and 2 snacks per day. You're looking to get 80% adherence, so getting it like 80% of the way there. You want to record your sleep, aka your time in bed, your mood, your activity levels, and the time you spend training. So, Diane, why no vitamin D supplements? I'm absolutely not against them. I think they're a great idea. If you're taking in high dose vitamin D, you do need to be taking in a bit of vitamin A and K2 to support it as well. But I just didn't list it in there because I thought there was a bit much already that I'm throwing at people. Like vitamin D, yeah, guys, if you want to add something in on top of that, certainly add in some vitamin D. Siobhan, does my wee ever smell like chickpeas? When I haven't drank much water, does it smell like chickpeas? Number one, I'm familiar with the concept of chickpeas, but I've never actually had them, so I'm not sure. But yeah, if you really smelly, stinky piss, you probably are dehydrated. And if it's green or like anything even close to being those colors, yeah, you're definitely needed some water. So drink more water, and you're gonna start alleviating that problem. But really good question. So guys, again, keep the cues coming. Neve, okay, Siobhan, you're not alone. It happens to Neve as well. Like a chickadee piss support group or something here. Susie, should you train when you have a cold? You take it back a peg. Yeah, this one depends. If I have a head cold, I'll usually train through it. If I have a chest cold, I usually won't. If you're completely wrote off and you feel like death, don't train. If you kind of feel okay, yeah, maybe go through your training. So back to the compliance grid. So 3 meals, 2 snacks per day. So let's look at it this way. Can you see my? It's gone. That's not. Can you see my arrow on the screen, guys? Just give me a quick yes or no. Can you see the arrow? Yes. Okay. Thanks, Susie. Mary, should fruit be limited? For most people, yeah, probably. Like, I've nothing against fruit, and if excess fruit consumption is your biggest issue, you're doing pretty well. But it is quite high in sugar, and you would probably be better off trying to get in your vitamins and minerals from vegetables. So, here's the compliance grid. Breakfast, record your time. Here's how you score it. With a tick, you either ate a compliant meal or you trained. You missed a meal or you didn't train. You ate a non-compliant meal or you weren't supposed to eat at that time or train for that day. So what is a compliant meal before we get started? A compliant meal is one that fulfills these criteria. So at each meal, a palm-sized portion of protein. So if you turn your hand over now, chop your fingers off and get rid of your thumb, that's about the width, thickness, and size of your protein in each meal. So that could be eggs, meat, chicken, anything like that. Veg, two big ass handfuls, one handful of colorful stuff, one handful of green stuff. Fat, one to two thumb sized portions. Give yourself a thumbs up and look at your thumb. That's what you're looking for. Um, and then like traditional carbs, like potato, sweet potato, rice. On training days, a cupped handful post workout is a pretty good idea. Snacks, things like Quest bar, fruit, nuts, that sort of stuff are usually the way to go. So when we say compliant meals in the compliance grid, that's what we're talking about. What you're trying to do here is look for trends. So if your breakfast was great, your snack was good, your lunch was good, and you missed snack two, and then your dinner went to hell, you know that missing a meal or missing a snack means you overeat. If you skip your breakfast on day two and everything falls apart, then you know breakfast is very important to you. Because there's no forget this bullshit about breakfast being the most important meal of the day. It's not. There's no metabolic advantage to eating breakfast. The only advantage that comes through eating breakfast is that you're less likely to overeat later in the day. Okay, so if you can control yourself later in the day, yeah, you can skip breakfast. But if skipping breakfast causes all this to fall down, then you're in trouble. So if you ate a non-compliant meal, a square goes in, and if you weren't supposed to eat a meal, an A goes in. So did you train? Yes, no, or you weren't supposed to train. How many hours sleep did you get last night? 6, 7, 8. It should be 8 all the way across here. And then your general mood during the day. Did you feel good? Were you tired? Were you hungry? Were you pissed off? What did you feel like? What you're trying to establish on this is a um. Uh, you're essentially looking for triggers and markers or trends that if something goes wrong, like let's say you didn't get a good night's sleep and you skip breakfast, and then your day falls apart, in future you need to get 8 hours of sleep and have breakfast so that your day goes well. And over the 28 days, I think you should do this for, then you're going to develop that stuff pretty quickly. And you start to really understand yourself, which is important. So, the compliance grid, you want to get it 80% correct for 28 days. And then, if you want, start to count calories. After 28 days, you won't need to because you'll already look a hell of a lot better. And after 42 days, which is 6 weeks, you're probably going to be in the best shape of your life. Um, so 80% correct for 28 days on this is basically allowing you to have one slip up per day, which is pretty generous. Now, the slip up is not slamming back a big box of Pringles. It's like having a couple of cookies or having I don't know, having like half a chocolate bar or something like that. This isn't like licensed to eat whatever the hell you want. But if you're getting it 80% of the way there, you're laughing. You're doing a pretty good job. Um, so what else have we got questions wise, guys? Keep going with them. So here's the things you need to remember. Number one, you need to form good food habits. And those good food habits are eating your meals regularly, sleeping 8 hours a night, taking 2 bites of food, putting your fork down, having a sip of water, and going about your dinners that way and setting your timer for 15 minutes. Train to get stronger. So get better at picking up heavy stuff. Okay. Get onto the compliance grid for 28 days. If you can do 28 days on that compliance grid, I guarantee you will look better than you have in a long, long time. Um, if you need some help setting it up, I'm going to talk to the first 10 people who register at revolutionfitness.ie/call. All you need to do is go onto that, type in the address into your address bar now, and fill in the submission form. The first 10 people to do that, I'll have a chat with you for 15 or 20 minutes on the phone tomorrow or over the weekend, and help you set it up and answer some of your questions personally. My big thing this year is I just want to give back and help as many people as possible and trust that I'll be rewarded on the back end for that. I firmly believe that the more people I reach out to and help and give my time away, the more benefit I'm going to see. So go to revolutionfitness.ie/call, register there. Question wise, what have we got so far? Okay, to all the guys who said yes, you could see my arrow. Thank you. Siobhan, I am definitely not tasting chickadees, nor am I going to try tasting my own urine. Um, Anne Marie, you drink a lot of green tea, but not a lot of water. Is that an okay substitute? To be honest, no. The big issue with green tea is that it's going to be like high enough in caffeine, which you don't want. Um, Everyone talks about coffee and caffeine and stuff being a diuretic. Realistically, it's a net hydrator. Um, what I mean by that is if you drink a cup of coffee, the water used in making the coffee is less than that which will be excreted as a result of the caffeine. So don't worry too much about that. But no, you'd be better off having some water. Um, if the taste is an issue, I can't drink plain water. I've had a pint of sparkling water here behind me or beside me the entire webinar. I just took a mouthful of it there. Um, and it's much more pleasant to drink for me. Some chopped up limes and lemons squeezed into some water as well is another really good shout. Kelly, are Quest bars allowed on a daily basis? Um, okay, I hesitate to say yes to this because I've eaten three of them today so far. Quest bars are pretty good. Okay, on the grand scheme of things, they're not the worst problem in the world, but you should never rely on them. They shouldn't be the thing you are you're going to as a crutch. So if you can eat them today and not eat them tomorrow, or not feel obliged to eat them tomorrow, or not have withdrawals from not eating them, then yeah, look, eat Quest bars. It's certainly better than having a Mars bar or going off and slamming back a croissant. Susan, green tea gives you terrible headaches, but coffee doesn't. Don't drink green tea. Um, I don't know the answer to that one, to be honest with you. Just stop drinking green tea. Just, like even stop drinking coffee. Just get more water in. Anne Marie, you are welcome. Uh, so what is it? Jessica, is my waddy okay? No, definitely not. Go and look at the label on my waddy or Robinsons or anything like that, and you'll see a list as long as your arms, of colorings, of preservatives, of flavorings, and a whole load of other junk that you definitely don't want to be consuming. You'd be way better off flavoring it with some squeezed lemon or some lime. Um, Siobhan, I can't taste the. I'm not supposed to taste the wee. I just want to taste the chickadees. I'm probably not going to do either, to be honest. Um, and no, unfortunately, I can't send out the slides. I never send out my slides for these things, just because. Uh, to be honest, it's to protect myself because I have a lot of trainers who listen to these things and a lot of trainers who watch them, and a lot of guys who try to rip me off. So if I put this stuff out there, it comes back around to me, and they just do a piss poor job of it. What I will do is have a chat to you if you fill in that revolutionfitnessforce.ie/call form. And I'm going to write some blog posts up on the things we talked about as well. So presumably you guys all get my daily emails. And if you do, then you'll be able to get the slides or the blog posts when they go up there. If not, you need to go to revolutionfitness.ie/daily email tips. Um, Coffee, I can't wait to fit into a mankini either. Joe, you tried to register for the call, but it didn't work. Okay. Let's see what happens. Because you're probably going to see my window. Yeah, you are. Cool. So, revolutionfitness.ie/call. So guys, tell me what's happening when I do this. I'm gonna fill in one now and just see. James at. If this doesn't work now, it's going to be absolutely hilarious. Are you guys getting an error message or what's happening when you fill it in? Just make sure you fill in all the red stars as well. Oh, okay. Guys, that should be okay. I'm just gonna hide my screen for a second, double check something. So bear with me and let me check this out for you. Um, to the best of my knowledge, that has gone through. The only issue is the screen that thanks you for coming onto the call isn't there. So I'm just opening up the form manager now. So hang on, keep asking questions, and I'll get to them as soon as I come back. So I'm logging in. I have 9 entries. So who have we got? Okay, Orla, James, Joanna, Ruth, Mary, Jessica, and then there's a few more as well. So yeah, guys, they're going through okay. So let's get back to my slides. Okay, can you see my screen again? Eve, if hopefully that's your problem solved. Diane, the best €15 anyone could ever spend. It's a BPA free bottle. The Zing Anything Citrus Zinger. Zing Anything Citrus Zinger, guys. That's what you're looking for. I'm going to put the link up here in this text box just so you can see it. If I can figure out how to work this. Oh dear. Um, there it is. Zing Anything Citrus Zinger on Amazon. Um, Eve, can you email the compliance sheet? I'm going to try and hook you up with something at the end, Eve. Um, are bleached tea bags a problem? I've trainers tell me they are. Kelly, I'm not really sure what the question is there because I don't drink tea myself, so it's not something I'd have really on my radar. Um, okay, guys, error messages coming up all over the place with the calls, but the good news is they're going through okay, so I have got them in front of me, so don't worry about that. Alrighty, so they're the big things to remember. Now, finally, I just want to give you a bit of a kick up the ass. So, there's two universal laws of fat loss we need to talk about. Law number one is stop fucking around. So stop planning, stop thinking, stop secreting stuff away, stop talking about it, just go and do it. There's no point thinking about it. There's no point planning. There's no point waiting to start. There's no point starting to plan. Get in, get stuck in. Tomorrow morning, wake up and go. Even if it's not perfect, a per plan executed will win every time, unless it involves something like Juice Plus, Herbalife, for Zumba, or any of that bullshit. So get shit done and get it done every single day. Simple, okay? Just go out and get it done. Law 2 is NFE, no fucking excuses. There's a thing called the West Point method, okay? It's the answers you're allowed to give are yes, no, or I didn't know. There's no yes, but, there's no but, or there's no yes, because. It's yes, it's no, it's I didn't know. If you didn't do something, that's fine. Wipe the slate clean and start again. But stop making excuses. Stop making excuses to me, to yourself, to your family, to your friends. That's what's holding you back. Take 100% responsibility. Where you end up in the next 3 to 4 months is your choice, and you can't lay the blame on anyone else when you get there, okay? It's nobody's fault but your own. So toughen up and get it done. The minute you give up excuses is the minute that you move forwards. All right? Does that make sense? Okay, you still with me? Any questions? So, guys, again, I say it again. Two universal laws: stop fucking around and no fucking excuses. If you get upset by cursing, get over it. Okay? Just stop messing about. Get it done. Um, Final thing I wanted to say to you was if you're feeling a bit lost, that's normal. Of throwing a lot at you and trying to put this all together yourself can be a bit intimidating. And the risk is that you keep procrastinating, you keep thinking about it and never doing it. So, what I'm going to do for a few people is offer a chance to get on our 12-week Bikini Ready online personalized transformation program. On that, you're going to get personal interaction with me and the Real Fit coaches, a complex lifestyle and training needs analysis where we look at what you're doing, where you're at, and how to build a successful plan around it. A strategy session with one of our coaches every 4 weeks. So, that's a personal one-to-one session where you come in and you get shown the exercises, you get shown the movements, and you get run through the program that we'll be giving you. Then every week, on the other 3 weeks, you get a weekly Skype coaching call. It's probably something that's going to last for 20 or 30 minutes, and we'll discuss your week, where things went well, where they went wrong, and what you can do to move forwards off of the back of that. And then any issues with your training or your workouts we'll be able to talk about there. I'm only taking 3 people on it because obviously I want to give as much as possible to those people. It's €47 per week for webinar attendees, and it's a 12-week program. If you want to get on board with that, you need to email me now at james@revolutionfitness.ie to secure your spot. Like I said, there's only going to be 3 spots. So if you want to get on now ASAP. Open up your email client and go and send me that mail. If that's a little bit outside of your budget, or if you can't stretch to it and you still want to do something, we have a 6-week online Bikini Ready transformation program as well. So what you'll get is 4 workouts per week delivered weekly to your inbox, our Bikini Ready nutrition plan, access to our compliance grid, our cookbooks, our detox manual, and a Facebook group for support. And the good news is that's only €9 a week 4 to 6 weeks. And I'm only offering it to you guys now, and I'm not going to offer it to anyone else for a good while because things have gotten a little bit crazy on my end with the amount of success we had. So if you want to get on that, you need to email me right now to james@revolutionfitness.ie and secure your spot. Okay. If you have any questions or if you're a little bit unsure which program is right for you, again, pop me a mail to james@revolutionfitness.ie and I'll get you sorted. So I'm here for a little bit longer. I'd say Sarah's probably already in bed asleep, but I'm going to hang around for another 5 or 10 minutes and answer any questions you guys have. So if you have any questions, please just shoot them up below, and I'll do my best to answer them. There's no questions sitting there at the moment, so if you're still here and you're still listening, and you have anything you want to go back over or anything I haven't covered, please just hit me up. Okay, Jessica. Listen, Jessica, thanks for tuning in. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Jessica just said thank you, which was very nice of her. So thank you, Jessica. And guys, thanks to all of you for tuning in. There was like 35, 40 people on this call all the way through consistently, which considering it's 9 o'clock and now 10 o'clock on a Thursday night, it was really cool of you to jump on. So look, again, if you want to get that strategy call in with me where we can have a bit of a chat, go to revolutionfitness.ie/call. If you want to find out a bit more about our personalized 12-week online bikini transformation program where you get a session per month with us, hit me up on james@revolutionfitness.ie. Tell me that, but make sure you do it quickly because there's already 2 emails after coming in and there's only 3 spots available on it. And then if you want to get on board for the 6 weeks with our online 4-day-a-week training program, it's only €9 per week. Shoot me a mail to james@revolutionfitness.ie now. Okay, we got questions or comments. Anya, thanks so much for the info. Anya, thank you very much for saying that. Christina, here's a good one. Dairy has got a bit of a bad rep lately. Is soy better or almond milk? Soy is basically devil's excrement. It is something I wouldn't touch if you paid me. It has so many negative hormonal influencing patterns that I just wouldn't go near it. Almond milk, the majority of the almond milk you guys get in the shop is just sugary water. Okay, have a look at the label next time you're going to buy some, and you'll be a little bit horrified by what's on it. If it's a question of calcium intake, just get more green leafy veg into you. If it's because you like milk, well, have a little bit of milk. I will have some cream in my coffee every day, and butter is the best thing in the world. So, dairy in large quantities, yeah, it wouldn't be great, and I try to avoid it. But every now and again, it's not the worst. Kelly, thank you. I'm so tempted to read that out. And you're so lucky I pre-screened it. I might just screenshot it. Ruth, the world is after a wreck in my head now. You're an absolute distraction. Ruth, no, thank you for coming along and thank you for listening in. Siobhan, thank you. Neve, thank you very much. Joe, thank you. Kate, thanks. You too, Joe. I hope you're doing well. Thanks, James. Yeah, I'll I'll see you Monday, Susie. And yeah, dead right. Falling down and dying is something we all want to avoid. And Marie, thank you very much. Coffee. Oh, I know who you are now. Aoife, thanks for coming along. Thanks for listening in. Christina, thank you. Diane. Okay, yeah, this is an important one, and I didn't even think of this. Diane's brought up a really good point. If you mess up and have a bad lunch, that doesn't mean you skip your dinner. Okay, apparently a lot of people do that. I wasn't aware of it. Yeah, if you have a bad meal, guys, wipe the slate clean and start again. Make the next one good. Okay, don't skip meals. If you skip a lunch, or if you have a bad lunch and you skip dinner, you're only going to overeat later in the day or the next day. You're shooting yourself in the foot. So please just make sure that you don't skip meals. If you have a bad meal, write it off and start again. Kira, thank you very much. And Guys, I think that brings us to an end. Um, I've recorded this entire thing. I'd imagine it's a pretty gigantic file. So what I'll do is send it on to all of you guys. And if you have any questions on anything we covered that you can't think of now, but you do think of later, please just shoot me a mail to james@revolutionfitness.ie and make sure you get on top of this 6 week bikini body transformation program. So guys, thanks a million for tuning in, and hopefully we'll do this again sometime.